Okay, so I'm back in the Opt-in Monster dashboard. So this is what you will see as soon as you log into Opt-in Monster. Now I have a number of sites connected to Opt-in Monster, and under each site, these are the individual campaigns. You'll just see your own one site, presumably, and any campaigns that you've created. You'll recall in the first lesson in this chapter, I asked you to think about your opt-in offer. And hopefully you've taken a little bit of time to do that. But even if you haven't, I can walk you through a couple of ideas here. And I'm going to suggest we start with a contest, a giveaway. And I'll show you why. This has been by far the highest performing opt-in for us. You'll notice on our mobile site, we have almost 16% opt-in, and it's about 5% on our desktop, which is extremely good. So that means we're capturing a huge number of people who are just visiting our site, perhaps even for the first time. We also have a 10% off pop-up, but that only occurs on product page, so that's deeper into the site, and that has a pretty good opt-in as well. So we're actually running two opt-ins. So I'm going to walk through both of those for you. So initially we created this test setup campaign, and that was really just to connect MailChimp and your e-commerce store to Opt-in Monster. And once that's done, they will show up in any drop-down menus going forward. So they're essentially connected for any campaign you might like to create in the future. So let's go back into this campaign. Okay, and you'll notice down the left-hand side here is a menu with all the elements that you can affect in your campaign. So in the setup, let's just change the campaign title here to Contest Giveaway. All right, and we've already added this website. We can actually run this on multiple websites at the same time simply by adding other websites that I have connected here, but we're just going to stick with the one. Okay, cookie duration. So this affects how long it will be before someone sees your pop-up if they decide not to engage with it the first time. And the cookie success means how long it'll be before they see it if they actually opt into your offer. So we can turn those down. If we want to be aggressive, we could turn it down to 1 day. So people will only see it once per day if they come by your website multiple times. And then once they opt in, there'll be quite a long break before they actually see it again. So that's good for that. We'll just hit save. And now we'll talk about the opt-in itself. So there are themes within Opt-in Monster, and actually I think we initially chose the fashion theme. These are just templates that give you different layout options, so you have a lot more flexibility, obviously. And these are going to be pop-ups that are just going to appear modally on your site. So depending on if you just want to upload an image and write all the offer details to the right here, you can affect and edit all these. I'll show you what that looks like. So here's a contest we happen to be running on our site right now with a partner, and this is using that same theme. So you have the image on the left, and you can affect all this copy, and you can even affect the styles here. We could affect the fonts. There's quite a bit of there are quite a few options here in terms of formatting. You want to limit the amount of text because it'll make the opt-in fairly long, which you don't want, but keep it tight. And so that's for an image, and you can edit the text. So back in our contest, I'm going to change the theme here to the bullseye theme. And this is a very simple theme. It allows us to put an image. I've actually embedded all of the contest details into the image. So I'm just going to click to add that image here. And by the way, if you need access to a good image editing tool, try Canva online. It allows you to do some editing, and that's how some of these images here were created. But I'm going to choose this one, which actually shows all of the details, and that's what that looks like. So that's pretty descriptive there, and I like the fact that it's visual. And to modify that, you can just hit modify. Here's another one that we created for another client. So that's just a simple statement there with a single product, gift card rather than a specific set of products. Let's go back to this one. Now, in terms of the size and the proportions of the image, it's going to depend on the theme that you choose in Opt-in Monster, but I would recommend something around 800 by 600 if you're doing this full graphic, and you might want to pick something maybe like 400 by 800 if you're using the sort of side graphic idea, but you'll have to play with that a bit. So we've got all the information here in our graphic, so we don't need to edit anything here. So let's get into the yes, no tab here. So enabling yes, no buttons will typically greatly increase your opt-ins. And it's a bit counterintuitive because you're asking people to go through an extra step. And I like to make these even a little more provocative because you're really spelling out what people are giving up by not responding to your opt-in. So I would say, yes, I want a chance to win, exclamation mark. That's the yes button. And instead of saying no thanks, say no, I don't want to win. Well, that sounds a little bit crazy, right? So when people sometimes when they see it in that light, they're a little more compelled to act. So that adds an extra step, but it can really boost your opt-in rates, and you can affect the background colors for each button. So if we wanted to make this say green, stand out a little more, and that's the color we use, we can do that. And we can even affect if you had a longer title or a longer statement here, you could affect the font as well under here. But you do have a lot of flexibility and power, again, that you don't have in MailChimp in terms of designing a form. So that's the yes, no option, which I strongly recommend. And then there's the success. So here you might want to change this to thanks for entering. Please check your email for further instructions. What I would also suggest here is you're going to need to create some terms and conditions for that. So you might want to create a link here, see all terms and conditions. And what I'll do, I'll provide you with a download, which has some sample terms and conditions that you can use. And I would suggest just creating a page on your website that you can link to. Hit the link button and enter the link to the page on your website. So you're going to confirm the contest in an email automation, which I'll show you how to set up shortly. Okay, let's talk about display rules now. Depending on what level of Opt-in Monster account you have, you might see different options here. Opt-in Monster at the highest level has something called exit intent technology, and that means that people will see your opt-in when they scroll up to the top left area of your screen, ostensibly when they're about to leave your screen, because they're either going to hit the back button or they're going to enter something into their address bar. So I'll show you how the exit intent technology works. So you're on our site here, you think, oh, that all looks nice. Maybe I'll come back here someday. And then you decide, well, I'm just going to go back to where I was. So I click up here. As soon as I move my cursor up to the top left corner, triggers the pop-up. So this is very effective because you're essentially capturing someone who may just be about to scroll away from your site. And you're kind of arresting that decision and making them an offer, which can be very effective. So that's the exit intent technology. Now the lower priced accounts may not have that, but that's fine. I would say perhaps it's just going to be after a certain number of seconds. And frankly, the exit intent technology does not work obviously on mobile devices anyway, which is becoming an increasingly large percentage of most people's traffic. So you can just set this to 5 seconds. So it's literally just going to pop up on the site after I have time to just quickly get a sense of what's going on. You also have a number of other options here. You can, show it after they've scrolled down a page to a certain extent. So you have a lot of options depending on what your goal is. But I think the timing related goal is probably the best. You can also limit what pages this is shown on. So you could limit it only to your home page. You could limit it to people who have only viewed past your homepage, so they've explored a little deeper into the site. Again, you have some conditional logic here that you can use, similar to in MailChimp. Now, what I might do, I'm going to suggest we create 2 opt-ins. One would be the contest, and then we'll create a 10% off on the product pages. So does not contain, all my product pages in Shopify contain the word products. That's the way Shopify is structured. So that means that this pop-up will appear on any page that is not a products page. So we'll save that. So let's talk about integrations now. So we've connected this to MailChimp. We've connected this to our wholesale account, which is the site that this is attached to. Now, there are a number of lists on here. So I'm going to pick our main retailers list here, and you'll see our groups here. Now, using this external form tool is going to allow us to filter people into specific groups. But first, we're going to have to create a group to collect these. So let's go back into MailChimp. And under that same account, I'm going to go into my lists, click this retailers list, which is the main list here. And under Manage Contacts, I'm going to go to Groups and View Groups. So we have people basically broken down by their profile within our retailers, whether they're USA, Canada, reps, and so on. But I want to create a new set of groups. And this group category is going to be contests. And we only have one contest so far, but in the future you may have more. So let's call this the giveaway contest. And you could add a date here if you wanted, and we will add that group. So in future we could add other contests here, as many as we wanted. And that'll allow us to segment people by contest. So people could enter multiple contests. So that's why you may want to use a checkbox in this case. But let's just hit save here. And we're done for now. So now if we go back into Opt-in Monster, that's going to force me to pick the list again. And you'll see that it's now connected. So I'm going to check that box. And that means that anyone who enters this contest through this opt-in is automatically going to be added to that group. So that means now we can build a custom response and automation in response to someone joining that group. So I'll show you that in an upcoming lesson. And one thing you're going to have to definitely do is turn off this double opt-in. That's a common problem. I've missed that before, and it'll actually mess up your campaign. So this is going to be a single opt-in, so just make sure that's turned to off. Analytics is useful if you want to track the success of your opt-in. You will need a Google Analytics account, and you would simply add a new account, generate the authorization code. And again, this means you're going to need to log into your account and allow access. That's a useful add-on. You can really track the success of your campaigns, but not essential. So now we've created this opt-in. It's connected to your site, and we've integrated it so that it's going to be filtering to a specific list there. So that is your contest opt-in, and we've chosen to run it everywhere except product pages. So that is done. Now we're going to have to go back into MailChimp and create an automation to respond to this. And I'll show you a trick here that you can use to gather extra data on your subscribers. And I'll show you that in the next lesson. But before we leave Opt-in Monster, let's also create a 10% off offer. So I'll save this campaign, and then I'll just hit the X here to close this campaign. And I'm going to just quickly duplicate another campaign that's already run, that I already have built here. So you'll notice under more options here, there's a duplicate. So that'll allow you to save time in the future if you've already got the settings set up for something. So here is the 10% off pop-up, which I've already created. And it's pretty simple. Again, I have used a slightly different theme here. Now, I'm going to change the website here that this is going to be offered on. I'm going to put this on the same website, the So Young Canada wholesale website, which is where we're setting all this up. And this one is a simple one. I just had an image up here. This is a different theme. It's the Entice theme. And I simply have an offer, get 10% off your first purchase. Let's let you know about secret sales and exclusive offers. And again, I've used a yes, no here. And success, again, points to people to check their email. So again, I'm going to want to add a group here back in MailChimp and create a group called offers. and we'll call this the 10% off offer. So the group category is offers, and the group name is 10% off. And we'll save that. Done for now. I'll go back to Opt-in Monster, and I'll click Integration. This again will be a MailChimp account that we're connecting to. Our account is already here, and this is the wholesale account we added. The list is the retailers list again. You may only have one list. And there is the offer showing up right here. So this is the 10% off offer. And again, we'll hit save, and we'll look about the display rules. So again, this will be after, I have it set to 10 seconds in this case. And I've already set this one. So this is only going to show when the URL path contains products. So that's all done. So we've now created two opt-ins, and we've pointed them to specific groups in MailChimp. And so in the next lesson, I'm going to show you how to create automated responses to those, along with a little trick for gathering some more data on your subscribers.